question. What are your thoughts on illegal immigration, and specifically, what are your thoughts about the illegal aliens that are currently in the United States?
Well, first of all, isn't it a sad state of affairs where, on a practical basis, it's easier for illegal immigrants to enter our country than legal immigrants? I mean, that is a sad state of affairs. Sad state of affairs. Look, number one, we cannot have amnesty in this country. Illegal means illegal. They broke the law, and whether you believe the reports of whether it's 10, 12, or 15 million illegal immigrants, it doesn't really matter what the exact number is, but amnesty will not work. We need to go ahead and do two basic things. One is more direct enforcement. You have to go ahead and enforce the laws for two reasons. One, because it's the right thing to do, but two, people in other countries, whether it's Mexico or other places, they sit and they understand the system. You need to send a message that you can't just illegally come into the country. And then the second time is to develop a robust guest worker program. But you have to do it legally, and people who come in here, number one, have to pay taxes, and number two, live by our laws. Anyone who goes ahead and breaks a law, whether they rob someone or whatever, gets banished from the country. We have to kick people out. And look, lastly, immigration is part of an overall, national question. And so this, it always reminds me is that, look, this is why, in terms of when we're bringing, illegals in the country who may not, they might do the work in some of the jobs all over the district that Doug was describing. Look, at the end of the day, this just tells me why we need English as a national language as well. English as a national language as well. So, no to amnesty, sensible guest worker program, but look, we need bigger and stronger enforcement internally in the country and at our border. And if you send me to Washington as your congressman, I will advocate and be very, very dedicated to those processes. Thank you.
Mr. Maroon, what are your thoughts on illegal immigration and also the illegals that are currently here?
Well, just about everything's been said, but first of all, when you break the law, where do you go? You go to jail. These people are breaking the laws of the United States of America. We have to export them, bring them back to their countries. We have a process. Now, many of you know that my family, part of my family is from Lebanon. They came over here, they did the process, they brought their brothers and cousins back legally, and they created jobs. We have to be able to do the same thing now that we did before. If you break the law, which these people are doing, they have to be exported back to their home country. We also have to come up with a plan that allows immigrants to get on a track to become citizens. Because look in this room, most of us are from somewhere else. Our families are. And we're good citizens. So we have to come up with that. But we also have to come up and we have to continue the way we do business with foreigners right now who come in, who do jobs that we can't find people to do. Like in Peru, picking apples. I've been out there for years and see the Jamaicans and all other people come in and they do a great job. They spend money here and they go back home. And we have to have that to keep our economy going. But the basic intent is you follow the law. The law is you break the law there, you come in as an illegal immigrant, you go back home. And that may mean beefing up our border patrols, and it may mean beefing up some of the ways we track down illegal immigrants, because they do know the system and they know how to get around it.
Thank you, Paul. This is a very good question, probably difficult though. Please tell us about a situation when you stood for what you believed in, even when the majority disagreed with you. I'll give you a second to think about that. A situation when you stood for what you believed in, even when the majority disagreed with you. John and Julie, thank you for that one.
No names, please.
Matt's not thanking you, though. Would you tell us about a situation when you stood for what you believed in, even when the majority disagreed with you?
Wrong party. Another question that didn't come back.
It's okay to pass.
You guys got a better answer than that? All right, Doug, go ahead.
Well, I think I proved last year that I'm a man of principles and that I can stand up and fight when I think it's really appropriate to fight. When I stood up last August and said something has to be done about this race, and we need somebody in the race that has conservative views, somebody who's fed up with what's going on in Washington and Albany, somebody who's worried that we're spending too much money and we're bankrupting our grandchildren. And I stood up and fought for that. And at first, I was on the wrong side of the track, and I think that I was in the minority. But I think by sticking to my principles and fighting hard for it, I think it came around. And I think that's what I would do as your congressman.
Well, I'm glad this question came up because this has been on my mind all the way over here from Tupper Lake. I know that just about everybody in here in this group doesn't want any new taxes, and I don't either. But I already told Mark Berry in a discussion a few weeks ago, there is one tax that if it had to come that I would support it. And Bill Owens has said he will not support it, and that is a war tax. And my issue with this is, I want to explain to you why that's the only one I would support. If our men and women need money for themselves to be trained or armed, or for their families to be taken care of back home while they're overseas, I will never let a veteran be active or retired or disabled down. And if that means that we have to create a special tax to keep them alive, safe, and not in harm's way or defending their fellow comrades as they should be, I will support it. And I know that's not very popular in this room, but it's been on my mind, and I think that question was appropriate.
I mean, look, I don't have a, obviously by my lack of quick response, have a quick, easy answer in terms of, been elected or been through a campaign before. But look, I'm a person who believes in right and wrong, and will go ahead and stick up for that. And, I mean, there's been many times, like even as a youngster, where, all the kids were doing something, I just I had to go to detention or be scolded by my parents. I mean, that's the type of person who I am is in terms of character. And that's the type of character that I will bring as your representative in the 23rd Congressional District.
Thank you, ma'am. This calls to start next with the next question. What are your views on abortion, and what are your views on same-sex marriage?
I think it's been pretty clear in the Press Republican, and I'm going to go over it again for everybody, including my assemblywoman. I'm opposed, absolutely opposed to same-sex marriage. And I'll tell you why in one quick answer. I think the marriage proper is between a man and a woman, and I don't think it should be any other way. I think that there could be civil rights. Granted, I know people who are gay, they're my friends, I've served with them in the military, and I've served with them in different jobs. I have no problem with that, but I'm opposed to same-sex marriage. Abortion. I want you all to know I'm a practicing Catholic, and I oppose abortion, period.
Thank you. With marriage, I feel that it should only be between a man and a woman. I believe that the family values in America has deteriorated enough in America that we shouldn't go changing the institution of marriage. We need to build up the family. The family is the cornerstone of America, and it's part of what made America strong. I am pro-life, period.